Hey and welcome to MFFL TV. I'm your host Dylan, and today we're just going to be talking about some Porzingis trade rumors. We're probably going to split this up over two videos, take a look into each trade, see how it helps each team, and hopefully get your thoughts about it. So the first possible trade has Porzingis as well as Brunson heading out east and joining the Charlotte Hornets for Gordon Hayward and PJ Washington. So let's take a look into each team and see how that benefits them. So looking at the Hornets lineup, I feel like this is a really good move for Porzingis. He can sort of fit in that center position that Hornets have been missing since Al Jefferson. So as well with him and LaMelo Ball, I feel like they can be a pretty good tandem. Maybe unlock him a little bit more, involve him in the offense. Whereas in the Mavs, he'll sort of just coast on the perimeter. Maybe he'd get some cuts for some dunks, but that's about it. For the rest of the lineup, you know, they've still got Bridges, Rozier, Malik Monk if they re-sign him. And it allows them to have a really good backup in Brunson if Devontae Graham goes. They do have a few restricted free agents, so we'll have to see what happens there. But overall, I feel like this is a pretty good lineup for the Hornets. I feel like this trade can make the Hornets a much tougher competitor out in the East. And, you know, as I said before, try and unlock Porzingis, maybe get him playing like the old Knicks days. And now heading over to the Mavs. So this is what the trade would look like for them. Alrighty, and this is how the Mavs come out of this trade. I really like this for the Mavericks. Gordon Hayward, yes, he's had his injury problems, but he's really versatile, can play off the ball next to Luka, and is also that secondary playmaker, creator that the Mavs have been looking for. And although PJ Washington didn't really take the step up everyone thought he was going to, still a really good three-point shooter, and the Hornets looked really good defensively with him on the floor. If the Mavs do this, I think I'd prefer PJ Washington moving to the 4 and maybe getting another center out there like a Richaun Holmes, although that'd be a bit hard salary cap-wise, so I might have to look at getting rid of Powell and Kleber, but we'll have to see where that goes from there. For now, I really like this trade for Dallas if Hayward was to stay healthy. Yeah, I'd give this a really good grade. Hopefully it happens, but moving on to trade number 2 has Porzingis and Josh Green with potentially some few picks in there as well for Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. So let's take a look at how this ends up looking for the Sacramento Kings. Alrighty, first of all, with this, I sort of am assuming Holmes will be leaving just because that's sort of the reports I've been hearing. Hopefully he goes to Dallas. But let's just say he does leave. Kings end up having Porzingis at the 5, Fox at the 1. Halliburton can finally move into the starting lineup, which I think he's a stud. I think he deserves to. And then they can have Barnes and Harkless, depending on what else they do. But I think this is a really good lineup for the Kings as well. I think Fox and Porzingis can again be a good tandem. Once again, Porzingis sort of has a bigger role here. He won't just be playing off ball to Luka the entire game. I think he can have some of the offense run through him in Sacramento, and I think he can benefit from that. As well, Josh Green, decent young player. Maybe the Kings can do something with him. But I like this for the Kings. I think Halliburton's really good and is ready to start, so getting rid of Buddy Hield sort of makes that easier for them anyway. But yeah, I like this for the Kings, but more importantly, let's look at this for the Mavs. Alrighty, so once again, I love this for the Mavs. Getting Buddy Hield, I think, gets one of the best shooters in the NBA next to Luka, and you saw what he was able to do with Seth Curry, so I feel like that's just the even better version. And getting Marvin Bagley in the trade, I know he's regressed a little bit, but he still has a lot of potential, could be a really good player. And just as a pick and roll partner with Luka, I feel like Luka gets everyone open, so I feel like he could really shine in Dallas as well. With this scenario, maybe look to upgrade over Finney-Smith. I do love Finney-Smith, but offensively it's a bit up and down with him. Or even if they just start really accruing a really strong bench, I feel like this is a pretty decent lineup. Especially if they re-sign Hardaway, it gives a lot of shooters on the floor. Maybe just need some stronger defenders as well. But yeah, I like this trade as well. Let's go into trade number 3. We have Porzingis and Cauley Stein going to Philadelphia for Tobias Harris. Before we look at each team, I'm just going to start this off by saying I'm not really a fan for either team. I don't think Tobias Harris is a good enough number 2 to pair with Luka. And I just don't think Porzingis fits in with Philadelphia next to Embiid. I feel like defensively they're a bit too slow laterally and won't be able to guard a lot of the modern day fours. But, why not? Let's look at it. Here's what the Philadelphia 76ers would look like. Alrighty, so with the 76ers, depending on if they re-sign Green or not, they'll probably be yielding something like Simmons, Curry, Green, Porzingis, and Embiid. I don't really see this as a great fit for Porzingis. He's sort of just going to be asked to stand outside and be a spot-up shooter. I know he always fantasizes about being a post-up player and getting more post-up opportunities. Next to Embiid and Simmons, I don't know if that's going to be great spacing for him. Look, it could work, but not really a fan of this one for either team. Let's look at how Dallas would look. Alrighty, so this is what Dallas would be putting up if they were to do this trade. I do like Tobias Harris. I just think if they do this, they still need to do a lot. They'd still need to find that second option next to Luka, upgrade the center position. Do they bring back Tim Hardaway Jr.? I think this one would just be a bit too hard to, make the team better. But look, I do like Tobias Harris, good three-point shooter. I just don't think this is the best that they could do with Porzingis. With that being said, let's go into trade number 4. Trade number 4 would be just a straight-up swap with Wiggins and Porzingis. This one I don't like because I think it strengthens the Warriors a bit too much and gives them a bit of flexibility. I'll get into that when we talk about the rosters, so let's look at how the Warriors would come out of this. Alrighty, so after this trade, Warriors will have something along the lines of Curry, Thompson, Oubre if they re-sign him, Draymond and Porzingis. I think as well after that they could maybe trade Wiseman and the number 7 pick for a really good small forward. And I think that really makes the Warriors a force again in the West. And that could honestly, that's definitely good enough to compete for a championship. So obviously don't like that. I feel like Dallas don't really get enough in return for as much as they're strengthening Warriors and giving them flexibility. But this is what the Mavs would look like. So this is how the Mavs would be looking. Similar to the Tobias Harris trade, I just don't know if there's a good enough number 2 next to Luka there to really move up in the West. Maybe if Tim Hardaway Jr. continues to play like he did in the playoffs, the combination of him and Wiggins can really make that second all-star type-ish player. But with this would still be the same, would really have to strengthen the center position. I just don't think Powell's a good enough rebounder or shot blocker to really be a force at the center position. Maybe, once again, Holmes would be really good there, but we'd have to wait and see. I wouldn't mind this trade, but I think there are better options out there. With that being said, let's go to number 5, and hopefully this one's a bit better. Number 5 has Porzingis, Brunson, and likely a pick in there as well for Pascal Siakam. So going straight into this, let's see how Toronto comes out of this. Honestly, I'm not too sure why Raptors would do this, but I do think they're going to try and blow everything up. Kyle Lowry looks like he's about to leave, so why not get rid of Siakam as well? You'd probably be looking something like Brunson, Van Vliet, Gary Trent Jr., Anunoby, and Porzingis. Look, it's, nothing special. Porzingis probably goes back to being the main guy next to Van Vliet. He could put up ridiculous numbers, maybe bring up his stock. Maybe that's something Raptors could look into. But yeah, as a whole, don't really know why they'd do this. But let's look at it on the Mavs perspective. So with this, Mavs would be looking something along the lines of Doncic, Hardaway, Finney-Smith, Siakam, and Powell. I really do like the addition of Siakam. Although he's not the best three-point shooter, he's really athletic, versatile, brings championship experience, and he's clutch. Like, look what he did in that championship run. With this, there'd still need to be quite a bit of work, I think. Maybe if they renounce Hardaway, bring in Mike Conley, that would be an absolute dream big three. And then look to offload Powell and Maxey, maybe bring in a center as well. Then could really start looking at something there. But yeah, I really like Siakam. I think he'd be a really good number 2, maybe even a number 3 if they get Conley. But now let's look into number 6, just for a ridiculous dream move. So for the last rumor of the episode, we're going to have to go a bit off the rails here. For the ultimate dream, going to have to wait for part 2. But let's get straight into it. This one has Porzingis, Brunson, Finney-Smith, and Maxey going to Washington for Bradley Beal and Davis Bertans. Let's start with the Wizards' perspective. This is what they would look like. So for the Wizards, it seems like Beal's been wanting to go for a little while now, just hasn't really been working out. And in return, you get a 7'3" player that can shoot outside, mix it up inside, be a pretty good pick and roll partner with Westbrook, as well as getting a lot of depth. So you also get Kleber, Brunson, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Does it make the Wizards contenders? No, but look, this is really just a dream for Dallas, so let's just see how they end up looking out of this. So this trade pairs up another star with Luka and Bradley Beal, and also provides a lot of shooting on the floor. If they were able to get back Hardaway, you're looking at Luka, Beal, Hardaway, Bertans, and a Powell for now. That's a lot of shooting, a lot of offense. That'd be a really fun lineup. As well, if they could get Holmes for the 17th time this video, that would be amazing. I don't really think this is going to happen. I feel like a lot of other teams could offer better packages for Washington. As a whole, I think maybe the first or second trade scenario would be perfect, where you're getting Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley, or Gordon Hayward and PJ Washington. I feel like those are the best complete deals. Or Pascal Siakam as well. But I'm not really a fan of Wiggins or Tobias Harris. But stay tuned for part 2 of this. If you like the video, please like the video and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And I will see you for part 2.